What's going on YouTube? Mike with iHeart Knives, and today we're going to do something a little different. We're starting a new series. It's actually pretty cool. If you've been on Instagram, you'll know that I got this in the mail. It's the bag that said Fragile on it, and this is a knife blank, and it's out of HAP 40. So this is pretty cool. This, I believe, is heat treated to 64 Rockwell. It's 2 layers of mild steel, 2 outer layers, so there's a jacket, and then HAP 40 in the center. It's fairly thin. I believe it's, let me see what I can compare it to. So I actually have, let me give you a close-up. I have the Para 3 here, and it's actually almost the same thickness as like the front third of the tip. So here it is next to the Para 3. So you can tell it's actually pretty thin. And by the time I grind it out, we should hopefully have about the same thickness as the tip of the Para 3. So right here at the very tip, that's what I'm going to shoot for the majority of the blade. I am probably going to do a distal taper. So let me see if I can show you guys the layers. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that. I think you can. You can see that there's a little bit lighter layer in the center of the blade, and that's where the HAP 40 is. So first things first, I'm going to profile. I'm going to take this little nub off. I'm not sure if they stamp it. I imagine they probably stamp it because there's a little like round nub here and then back here on the handle. So I'm going to take that off. And then I'm going to redo the tang, and I'm actually going to make it a little bit thinner. So I'm probably going to take off that much of it. I'm actually going to make it a fairly thin tang, like a standard Japanese tang. I'm not sure if I'm going to end up pinning it. It's nice that they drill out the back so that you can put like a brass pin or whatever through. I don't think I'm actually going to do it. I think I'm going to do a traditional Japanese like octagonal handle, and I'll probably just end up epoxying it on. I might even do like a burn finish where you heat the tang up a little bit and kind of burn it into the wood at like the last let's say 25%, just so that you get a really good fit. But I like the shape. It's just like a standard 200, I think it's a 220 or 210 millimeter Giotto. They give you a little bit excess, so I think it's like 225, so you can make it, you know, a 210 if you grind off you know, a little bit of it. So I'll end up doing that. I'll take you to the grinder, and then you know, I'll start grinding this back. This is going to be different for me. I've never done a grind on a multi-layer blade. I've only used, you know, solid 01 tool steel. So I've never used like a sandwich steel with, you know, mild steel outer core. So this will be a learning process, and hopefully I don't fuck it up. And if I do, then that's how you learn. So all right, guys, let's get right to it. I'll bring you over to the grinder and we'll get started with it. All right, guys, so we got the grinder set up. I just threw a fresh 50 grit belt, ceramic belt on. I just want to get a feel for how this is going to go. We got the knife blank right here, and first things first, I'm going to take these little round pieces off each end, and we'll go from there. So I'm just going to throw some protective stuff on, and I'll bring you back to grinding. Alright, so we've got a pretty messy, roughed in bevel, but it's been a while since I've been back on the grinder, so it is what it is. I'll clean them up. But I'm probably within about 30 or 40 thousandths away from my center line. So I don't think the camera's going to pick it up, but I ground about 30 or 40 thousandths to my center line, so that way it'll give me a little bit of wiggle room to clean up my bevel. Now I'm going to go to the other side and start working this one in. Alright guys, so at this point I'm going to give you an update. The 200 and I believe it's 210 millimeter Giotto, the HAP 40 project that we're working on, finished grinding it out. So we've got 50 grit scratches on the whole blade, and the edge is, I actually took measurements. We've got about 18 to 25 thousandths along the whole edge, so there's a couple thicker spots I need to work out. I'm probably going to be bringing this down to about 10 thousandths. I want it to be a slicer. It's a thin blade stock anyway, so it should be a laser. So yeah, so that's going to do it for this portion, and I'll see you guys in the next section where we continue to grind out the HAP 40 Giotto. Alright guys, so at this point we have a 50 grit scratch pattern on the knife, and I'm going to go ahead and switch the Norton Blaze ceramic belt, and I'm going to throw, I think, either 80 or 120. I'm going to see if 120 takes the scratches out. I might need to switch to 80. We'll find out together. So I have a fresh 100 grit. I'll end up doing that instead of using an 80 or 120. We'll split the difference, and then I should be able to go from 100 to either 180 or 220. I'm not 100% sure exactly what I'm going to do, but we'll go to the 100 grit and get those scratches out. Guys, so I finished with the 100 grit Blaze belt that I have, and now I'm actually going to throw on the same grit Trizact. It's A160, which I think is like equivalent to 100 grit. So I'm going to throw this on, and this I think will take any deep scratches, because that was a pretty new Blaze belt. It should lighten the scratches a little bit, and then I'll probably go up to like 220 or 320, but I think I am going to hand sand this, because looking at it, there's still some areas that I'm not really too fond of, so I probably will do the hand sanding, and I think it'll end up being worth it. It'll look better in the long run. So let me throw this belt on and we'll get back to grinding. So just want to show you guys the difference quick with the shine on it. This is the side that I just ground out with the Trizact belt, and this is with the Blaze belt. And I think you should be able to see a lot more striations. Just running your fingers on it, you can feel it. Let's see if you can hear it. That's the Blaze 100, and that's the Trizact 100. So it's cutting much less aggressive, which is good for this. So I'm just going to grind out the other side with the Trizact, and then I'll bring you guys back when I'm done with that and when I decide to do my next step. Alright guys, so I got both sides done, just basically roughed out with that Trizact, and it's got a pretty smooth finish. Okay, sorry about the noise in the background, but here's the 120 grit hand sanded blade, and this is just like a dirty 120. There's still a couple vertical scratches right at the edge I need to get out. Alright guys, so at this point we've got 220 hand sanded scratches on both sides. So we've got scratch pattern going down the blade. It's basically just like a really rough satin finish, and I'm gonna clean it up a little bit more with the 220. We got all the 120s out. Clean it up a little bit more with the 220, and then I'm gonna go ahead and hit 320 grit finish, and we'll see how it looks. I'm really liking the 220 so far though. It has like a not quite satin, more of, I'd say, like a matte finish, but I think it's gonna look pretty cool when it's done. So I am gonna just clean the 220 scratches up a little bit more and then go to 320, and I'll probably bring you guys back when I start sanding the 320. So I'll just clean these up a little bit more. Then I think once I get that hand sanding done, I'm going to go ahead and finish rounding out this part right here to make it a little bit more comfortable for my hand, and then maybe finish with like 400 grit. I'm not really 100% sure if I'm going to go up past 400 or if I might go to like 800. I'm not 100% sure what finish I'm going to put on this. Alright guys, so at this point I've got the blade taped off, and I'm going to end up doing the choil. My finger is gonna go in a pinch grip. I'm just going to round that out with the Dremel. I'll bring you guys along for it. I think Dremel will be the easiest way to do it. And I think I might start establishing, well, before I establish the edge, I'm going to end up making the handle, I guess. So, alright, let's do, first things first, let's round this out with the Dremel, and I'll bring you guys along for that. Alright guys, so at this point I've got the choil rounded out, and you know, basically once the handle is attached, it's going to fit my hand pretty nicely. So my middle finger fits good in there, and I think it's going to make a good pinch grip. So I'm pretty happy with it. Alright, I'm probably going to split this into parts, so I don't know if this will be the end of part 1 or how I'm going to do it exactly, but either way, thank you guys so much for coming along for this video. This is a pretty cool project, and I hope you guys get something out of it and enjoy it. And I'm pretty pumped to have a new 8-inch Giotto when I'm done with this, but yeah, so thanks guys for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Later.